J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon? Otra vez? Let's do this.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. The slant.
Yeah, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version. All right, Paulie, let's go.
Paulie back here on the Latino Slant. What's happening, everybody? Hopefully you are subscribed and maybe you want to become a member, because memberships has its perks, including one-on-ones with filmmakers and musicians and live concerts and stuff you can't get anywhere else. So consider becoming a member. Now, we just reported literally not even 2 weeks ago, right, that Leslie Grace got cast as Barbara Gordon, the Commissioner's daughter, in the Batman series, television series, the comics, as Batgirl. And now, and we kind of theorize who would be her dad, who would be Commissioner Gordon. But to me, I was kind of surprised by this news. But like before, we're going to bring in the man. We're going to bring in the guy with some insight, some real insight. Our brother, I mean, you're practically now a member of the Latino Slant channel, Kamran Pasha.
Well, I would be honored to be your hermano on this channel. And I want to reiterate, people watching should become a member of this channel, because unlike other channels, there really are very unique and direct perks. So this is a wonderful channel. People should join it.
Well, okay. So 2 weeks ago, we were touting and we were praising, and you had some insight to the filmmakers. Let's do a quick recap that the filmmakers and what and who they cast.
Okay. So, it got out a few days ago that Leslie was cast as Batgirl, as Barbara Gordon, and I had reached out to you because I had just had a phone conversation with a friend that had been working on a film with the two directors of Batgirl, Adil and Bilal, and he was just working with them in Europe, and he was present when some of the decisions were made. He happened to be in the room and certain phone calls were made, and he heard the conversations, right? Because he was very close to them. And he confirmed that it had come down to, from what he heard, he had come down to Leslie and another actress, quite possibly Zoe Deutsch, but it was someone who was a white actress who, looked like the sort of the traditional representation in the comics of that character. And from what he had heard, they had ultimately gone with Leslie because they felt her take on that was the take they wanted to go with, and they thought both of them were superb actresses. And that raised a question: okay, well, how did someone like a Zoe Deutsch, how did someone like that rise up to be the number eight, to be the other contender, if this had been a previously decided racial or ethnic classification, which it hadn't been? And now this news seems to support that.
Because the whole communities that we're involved with, set the place on fire, another woke race swapping agenda production, and we pushed back, which hey, this is our opinions, and this news lends to a very unique vision of what these filmmakers are quite possibly going to undertake, Cameron.
Yeah. I mean, again, based on what my friend told me, these are people that are people of high moral integrity. They're not politically motivated, and they are very serious filmmakers. So, and they have a vision. And so this suggests that they have a very unique sense of what they want to do with Gotham City, right? And the characters in Gotham City, and they are choosing the people that fill that vision. So that is something I'm actually very excited about. These are not people that are coming at it from, because had it been just a politically motivated thing, he would, Gordon would have been black,
someone else, right?
He would have been right. So it's not coming from that place.
Well, you got insight to the filmmakers, to the people that are around them, which is really cool. Let's just get right to the news, right? Yeah. Which on different levels, I am excited about this. Deadline reports J.K. Simmons in talks to reprise Commissioner Gordon role in Batgirl. What the heck? Whiplash Oscar winner J.K. Simmons is in negotiations to come back as Commissioner Gordon in Warner Brothers and HBO Max's DC movie Batgirl. Simmons previously played the role in Zack Snyder's 2017 movie Justice League. Simmons will star opposite In the Heights actress Leslie Grace, who won the title role in the upcoming movie, being directed by Ibari and Falah. I'm just gonna go for their last names.
Well, they go by their first names, Adil and Bilal. So yeah.
Oh, okay, even
They go
cooler.
Adil and Bilal. It might be easier to
Adil
pronounce.
and
That's how
Bilal.
they go by it. Yeah,
I
Adil
love
and
it.
Bilal.
Christina Hodson, who penned Birds of Prey and the upcoming The Flash, wrote Batgirl with plot details under wraps. Kristen Burr is producing. Batgirl set for a 2022 release on HBO Max. The Hollywood Reporter first had the news on the Simmons discussions. And that's it. That's the
That's all for
news.
Deadline, although I think maybe Hollywood Reporter, I think, has more extensive opinion on that.
Okay, let's pull that one up. Give me your initial thoughts as I do that.
Well, the initial thoughts are that this fulfills what we were trying to say, that this wasn't coming from an ethnic casting point of view. That's a surface level, but there's another deeper level. I want to talk about what's happening, the politics of Warner Brothers right now. So surface level, which is an important surface level, is this is really what we said, which is the casting is coming from a place of creative vision rather than some kind of woke agenda to make it diverse for the sake of diversity, right? Okay, so that's the one. That's the surface level, which is a very important surface level. But there's something deeper happening here, Paulie, which is that this is going back to the pre-Robert Pattinson Batman, going back to the Justice League of Zack Snyder. And from what we understand, Jeffrey Wright has been cast as Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, in the Batman. And if it is true that he is not coming back here, and we discussed this last time, we didn't know. If it is indeed true, and it seems to be true that he's not coming back, that means that the powers that be have essentially decided to close that Pattinson vision out, as a one-off. As sort of that Incredible Hulk movie that was out there doing its own thing and doesn't really fit the rest of the Hulk thing. So that says something about the politics. And again, I don't think it's coming from Warner's, because the current Warner's executives wanted to close the door on the Zack Snyder vision, right? And this seems to be coming from Discovery Plus. As I said, Discovery has taken over Warner's, and they're consumer oriented. Wow. And so this is a strategic choice of the big bosses.
Okay, so we're pulling up the exclusive now from Hollywood Reporter. Batgirl movie, J.K. Simmons in talks again. This is an exclusive that they're saying. I think everything looks pretty much the same here, Cameron. Let's see if there's any more. Gordon is one of the oldest and best known characters in the Batman universe, having first shown the Dark Knight's appearance in Detective Comics number 27 in 1939. There's been varied degrees of different types of Commissioner Gordons from the Keaton movies all the way up. Simmons was cast as Gordon by Zack Snyder for 2017's Justice League and appeared in added material in the recently restored cut. In 2019, he said in an interview with Entertainment Night he had signed on to play the role for 3 movies and hoped to return to the character at one point. Hope there's more of that in the future. Well, looks like he got his wishes there.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
No, so and this is he had signed up. That was an option. I'm sure it wasn't a guaranteed role. I'm sure they had the option to pick him up for that, and they've picked up that option, which to me suggests that this is a very powerful decision coming from above. I'm sure the directors Adil and Bilal liked him. I don't get the impression that they're the people that said, we're gonna go along with the casting from the execs that we don't agree with, and rightly so. He's an Oscar winner. I mean, he's a superb actor, and he did a good job in this role. So this reveals something big happening on the entire franchise.
Well, you said something earlier, right? That Discovery Plus is consumer oriented. Yeah, we love J.K. Simmons. Like he's very popular from the Spider-Man movies to we feel he didn't get his just due as commissioner, and this is killer news. This is also just this kind of casting reminds me of kind of like where you take a vision and rework a Greek classic, a Shakespeare classic for a regional theater or Broadway theater production, and it's colorblind.
I mean, that seems to be their approach. From everything my friends told me, that they're not factoring in ethnicity, and that can offend people. People say, "Well, look, the original, we have to factor it in. These were the characters as they were laid out in 1939 through many decades later," and that's a fair argument. But that's not the artistic vision of how they're approaching it. They're not approaching from the point of view of trying to make it diverse or trying to make it not diverse. They're approaching from the point of view, we like this actor. We like this actor. This is the actor that we want for our vision of this world.
It's also a little bit of the old school and the new school, right?
Yeah.
You know, because he does kind of fit the old model of Commissioner Gordon.
Sure.
Like you can look at him, you can even say like, oh yeah, this he's from the 50s. Look at him.
Yeah, he could have been in the 60s series with Adam West.
Now, then we've talked about this before. As far as like, you know, there's change happening no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. That it leaks into people's visions, and kind of just being bold and daring with your vision for the story's sake, for vision's sake. How is that different than being bold and daring just to virtue signal?
Well, the latter is always fraudulent. It doesn't come from any place of respect for the story or the characters or even the actors. It comes from this ego. And frankly, in my view, it often comes from hidden racism, with people thinking, I'm going to throw some crumbs out to these poor minorities and see how what a savior I am towards them, giving them the role. These two gentlemen are Moroccan. You know, they're North African, right? So they're not coming in. They don't need to prove how cool they are with the minorities. There's no need for that. They don't need to prove their bona fides or bona fides, right? They don't need to prove that. So this is coming from people who have proven already that they've got sharp visual style and can respect earlier material, which we saw in Bad Boys for Life, which felt like a natural continuation of those original movies from decades before, right? And so you hit something that this is a little bit of old, a little bit of new, because Bad Boys for Life evolved the story forward. The characters now have children, and they have conflicts with those kids, and surprises and secrets are revealed that weren't known in the earlier movies, but are natural once you feel them. This is, I think, the direction they're going to continue to take Batman in, which I think from that story point of view is good evolutionary storytelling, because it's not coming from any kind of agenda, except we want to make a compelling movie that you haven't seen before.
I mean, I can't wait to get some leaks about the script, about the story.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's really going to say a lot about their vision. You know, this is daring. It may seem odd, but you know, the thing is that there's always going to be doubters, no matter what you do. And I really praise that these guys are really thinking out of the box, out the gate, man. And
they're
like
very confident. They're very confident. That I've gotten the vibe on from my friend. These are two guys who are very secure. They don't, these are people that are handling the sudden rush of success they're getting with a great deal of humility. That's not a normal, flash in the pan type. These are people trying to plan out a career.
Now, what for you? What does that mean as far as filmmaking? Because you talked earlier about what's coming from the ego. So how is that not coming from the ego? You think they're pretty grounded people, pretty grounded filmmakers? Just share your thoughts on that.
From what I've heard, because I don't know the gentleman, but from what I've heard from my friend who does know them, is they are very grounded people. I mean, in a sense, we're all trying to get our careers moving, but these are people that feel they have a purpose as storytellers, right?
Nice.
They feel that they're filmmakers, right? That's what they're here. They want to make compelling films, and that's about transcending the desire that their name be what's important. It's the product they're focusing on. That's what I mean by transcending ego, is that they want people to watch their movies and go, these are great movies. And that's how they want their career to go. They don't want their career to go about, well, look, they made the right, checkpoints of whatever the, momentary politics and cultural discussion is. That's not, otherwise they would have done Bad Boys very differently, because Bad Boys for Life went against some of the cultural narratives about sexy women and all that stuff that you're not allowed to be able to talk about anymore. I mean, it's in many ways is a throwback to some of the filmmaking we had a couple of decades before, and it's unapologetic about that. It's just a good movie.
So are you confident with this casting? Does this make sense for you? Does this interest you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so far, J.K. Simmons was already a known character. Like I said, he's beloved. I love him as an actor, and I'm looking forward to him. I even love him on commercials he does. He always brings life to everything. I mean, his
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I want to go buy that product. Yeah, I want to go get that insurance he's selling. So, but Leslie Grace, when I gave my first interview with you, Paulie, I was just talking for my friends and what they had heard. I hadn't seen her yet as an actress. With your recommendation, I went and saw In the Heights, and I was blown away by the movie. It is a superb movie. And I've been out there on social media saying people need to go see this because it is a true heartwarming movie that is universal, that isn't about any particular group. I texted my sister afterwards and said, this is our struggle as Pakistanis in Brooklyn in the 1970s and 80s. This was our struggle. She's like, yeah, I saw this. This was us. Right? We all get the struggle of trying to fit into a world that's sometimes against us, and the world is changing. But what blew me away was Leslie Grace. I hadn't really seen her as a performer before. This is a wonderful, wonderful actress who lights up the screen, who you can't get your eyes off of, who brings subtlety, who brings depth. I was like, okay, yeah. I want to see whatever she's got next. She wants to be Batgirl. I want to see that, right?
Well,
because
she won it. She earned it, right?
Yeah, she earned it.
I mean, when they said that she was the best for this, and you're thinking that maybe Simmons was already a pre-thought.
It feels like
then it's off to the races with these two actors. It could be a very interesting father and daughter dynamic.
Sure. I mean, the implication is, of course, that he married an Afro-Latina, and that is why he has a child that is Afro, and that's an interesting dynamic. That is definitely an interesting dynamic, and it's worthy of exploring. It can also, we can go into if that dynamic is there in a movie like this. Batgirl is someone who's actually rebelling against her father, right? She has this secret life. She's doing the things he doesn't want her to do, which is she is a vigilante just like this Batman that he's dealing with, right? That's not something he wants for his daughter. Let's explore the father-daughter dynamic, which I think is going to be very intriguing with this casting. And
one last thing, we had said before, and you had said before, this is not about race, and this casting just proved your statement, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know this was coming. I assumed it was going to be Jeffrey Wright. We talked about this. I'm assuming. Yeah. But right. At the same time, when we talked about it, I said, "But is it Jeffrey Wright? Because why would another actress who was white be the other competitor for this?" So it hadn't been settled, or it had been settled for Mr. Simmons, and it didn't matter who this actress was. Yeah. They're just looking for the best. It's proven here.
Amazing, awesome, dude. Kamran, thank you for your insight on this. Obviously on the Latino Slant, we just loved chronicling who's getting cast as what and where, if they are from a Latino background, because that's what this channel is. And these are exciting times. I'm not gonna lie, these are exciting times. If you're Latino in Hollywood, working, trying to get your stuff done, and then connecting that to, like you said, like those throwback stories to where a Pakistani family gets it, an immigrant family gets it, and this is very interesting, dude. So thank you again for your time, Kamran.
It's always on for Paulie. Thank you for allowing me on your channel.
Where can people reach you and connect with you, sir?
Well, I have a website, KamranPasha.com, where I have several of my novels that have been published, and people have been buying my novels and enjoying them, which is always great. I'm off of Twitter. And I think I'm going to remain off. But I do have an Instagram, KamranPasha72. So if people would like to follow my Instagram, they can try to DM me there. And looking forward to keep connected with the community.
You heard it first here on the Latino Slant, our little breakdown of the recent. Hopefully it's going to be confirmed that J.K. Simmons is back as Commissioner Gordon. Check out other videos. Other videos with Kamran have been very popular on this channel. You don't want to miss any of that. We'll see you soon, everyone. Be well. Paz y delegas.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. The Slant. The Slant. All right, Paulie, let's go.